they're sitting around right now, can't wait for the day and the clock to keep ticking so they can get to the stadium and get going.
For the Dodgers tonight, somewhat of a surprise. It'll be Corey Knebel. They are ready, willing, and Knebel to go. He's pitched 1 1/3 inning, has not allowed a run in this series. And Rodney, sure, it seems surprising at the outset, but if you really consider it, let him go as long as he can, because they have Julio, who could go the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think so, and you got to think it's strategy now. Dodgers and the Giants. The Giants have kind of modeled themselves after what the Dodgers have done over the last 8-10 years. And obviously, Farhan being up there saw how the Dodgers approach things, so they get it. And for the Dodgers, I think it's just throwing them a little wrinkle on game day of everybody and their brother, including us, including people within the organization. We're getting ready for Julio to start this game. And then you throw him a curveball hours before the game, and now it's not just starting another pitcher. It's actually starting a right-handed pitcher as opposed to a left-handed pitcher. So now what does that do to your lineup? You have to now load up with some left-handed bats instead of right-handed bat heavy as you would be if Julio was starting. So it's just a game day mind game, I guess you could say, that the Dodgers are performing. But also, if you look at Knebel, he has been outstanding over the last month of the season. He has been fantastic. So he's certainly capable. And if there's one thing I think over the last 3 or 4 years as we've seen Julio grow, is that he has had some tough starts. He's had some times where he's struggled in the first inning or so to kind of get himself going. After that, he's settled down. And this year is different because he was able to pitch more innings and start more games and win 20 games. And I'll say that again, win 20 games, the only 20-game winner in Major League Baseball. So he's fully capable of putting those demons of the first inning behind him. But I think this in Game 5, it's you pull out all the stops, and this is interesting. But, yeah, we will see a bulk of Julio. The question is, how long does Knebel go to start the game?
Understand this, very much like Max Scherzer. And we made the comment when he started the other night. That's why he's here. That's why they acquired him at the trade deadline. This is why they signed Corey Knebel. Don't forget, before he got hurt, he was lights out in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So, this is not a stretch here. And he is healthy now. That's why they signed him. They knew what they were getting, and they're giving the ball to him to get this thing started. I also think your comment about how they're going to manage the game and Gabe Kapler in his lineup now. See, this, and I may be proven wrong here, Rodney, but I think you have Gabe Kapler, and this is an awfully big stage for him. This is a new experience for Gabe Kapler as a manager. And he's probably about where Dave Roberts was when Dave started to win with the Dodgers. And there's a learning curve associated with that. So given that they're so analytically driven, by starting a right-hander, yeah, you kind of messed with their mind a little bit. So now this does not compute in their world of analytics, because this guy might go 2 innings. Who are you going to start against him? You going to give up the first 2 innings? You're going to play right-handed hitters because analytically that's not going to be good. So if you do that, are we going to give those innings up? Or are we going to play left-handers and then start going to the bench and bringing other guys in? I'm telling you, I think this is a really smart move, and it just messes with their mind. And I'm sure Farhan is sitting in his office going, damn it, Andrew, you got one over on us this time.
No, I disagree. I totally disagree. I think you would say that maybe, in June when we thought maybe, the Giants are fool's gold and they're not going to continue to have this kind of run, and they have, and they're here, and they won the division. I don't think that they are panicking one iota. I think they look at it and go, okay, you threw me a curveball. Now let's get the team together. He didn't go up there empty-handed, meaning Farhan. He put in place the similar things that the Dodgers had been doing. He learned firsthand by being here. So there is absolutely no panic. So if you're counting on them to kind of be, panicking, that's not going to happen. They got too many good players. They've got a guy, and remember, Gabe Kapler, he's not going to just be in a lone ranger trying to make these decisions on his own. They have a full staff that they have gotten together. Okay, how are we going to approach this thing now that Knebel's starting? And they're going to go for it. They're going to put their best lineup out there. And it's just a wrinkle, but to suggest that they're going to panic, absolutely not. They're going to be absolutely ready for anything that the Dodgers throw at them, and they're going to have to play the game. Where it comes down for Gabe Kapler is the end game. End game decisions that you're not going to have an hour to sit around a table with a collective group to go, okay, this is what we should do and this is what the analytics say and blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to make end game decisions on whether or not this guy is going good. How long do I leave Webb in? Do I let him pitch to X batter? Do I let him go one more batter? Do I take him out? Those little things during the course of a game, especially in an elimination game, is where sometimes the inexperience may get after you. But look, we've seen this with veteran coaches. We've seen it with coaches that have been coaching in the league forever where they may have taken a guy out. Hell, we saw it in the last year's World Series.
Yep.
Take a guy out sooner than he should, and it happened. So it's really about that. The pregame and Knebel starting instead of Julio, they'll just make an adjustment and see how it goes. But I don't think there's any kind of panic on their side. They've come too long and too far to be a team that panics, especially with those veterans on that team like Buster Posey and Crawford and some other guys.
Before I move off of this, by the way, Fred, I just wanted to pose a question to both of you because we all know in this situation we love to Monday morning quarterback this. If we can get it out there right now, because Dave Roberts and the Dodgers are already getting a little bit of pushback from the fan base, at least on social media, for making this move, knowing that Julio Urias, I know we had issues starting last year and they used openers ahead of him last season, have not done that for him this year. You know, Rodney, you've been one of his biggest supporters for him being a 20-game winner as a starter this year. How do we feel going into tonight with this decision? Would we rather have Julio, who's been effective as a starter, was great against them earlier in the series, versus doing something that they have not done in front of Julio all season long? Are we fans of this, or would we rather stick with him being a starter instead? Fred?
Okay, I'm good with this. I think you're just backing him in now. And you go with Knebel, who has been very effective. It also does add that element of a right-hander, so maybe you'll plot your lineup a little differently. And if he gives you 2 innings, let's say he gives you 2 good innings. Okay, Julio can give you 7. Julio can give you 6, and you're to your closer. I think you'll let Knebel go as long as they think he's effective. Now, if he starts to get shelled, he's got to get out of the game immediately. But if he's doing a good job out there, why mess with it? Every inning he pitches gives you an advantage going forward when Julio comes into the game. It just means it stretches him out. So I know on paper you go, why aren't you starting Julio? What's the difference? If Julio goes in the 3rd inning and can finish the game, would you rather take him out in the 7th inning and put the relievers in? I don't mind this at all, Rodney.
No, I don't mind it, and I'll say this right here and right now that this decision, and I'm getting it out here, will have nothing to do with the outcome of the game. The game is going to play itself out. So I know there's all people, criticizing him, and like you said, Kevin, on social already is pushback. It'll be the reason. If the Dodgers happen to lose this game, it'll be the reason because they didn't start. It's not the reason. This is a move that I think half the people go, I don't know if I would do it. I understand. Or it's a good move. Or maybe it's not such a good move. But I don't think it's going to be the reason why the Dodgers win or lose. All it does really, I think, to your point, Fred, is give Julio, once he comes in the game, the ability to go deeper into the game. And you would hope Knebel can get to one time through the lineup. If he can get to one time through the lineup, then you are talking about Julio possibly going into the 8th inning or even possibly the 9th, where you have multiple guys on the back end that can come in for a batter or 2, or it's got to be 3 now, but come in for an inning or come in for multiple batters if need be, if somebody gets in trouble. So I think it works out. It's just how long can Knebel go